Hey guys, Dan here. And it's been interesting watching the market correct a little bit, but I want to tell you what I'm doing and some things that I wish I knew 30 years ago when I was in my late teens and early 20s that would have made me millions and millions more if I could go back in time and tell myself. But I'm going to tell you these things I would have told myself 30 years ago so you can make a huge amount more money in a much shorter amount of time. Okay, so let's go into this. Now, this isn't going to be one of these super fast videos, so sit down, get comfortable, get a pen and pad, take notes, and execute what I'm talking to you about if you feel like it's valuable. Okay, so first things first. When I was younger, I used to get excited and I used to get scared really, really, really easily, right? So when the stock market went up like crazy, when I was buying all my internet stocks like Microsoft and Amazon and Apple, I was so excited and I just pile in. And when it hit all-time highs, I would pile in even heavier. And then it would correct, and then I would freak out and I would go to all the cash because I was so scared of losing everything. And sometimes I would lose money. And it took me about, more than 5-10 years of investing to finally meet a mentor who taught me how to do it correctly. So I'm going to pass that information on to you. This applies to crypto. This applies to real estate. This applies to stocks. This applies to your business. This applies to a lot of things. And so I want you to really take note, okay, and take action. So first things first is simply, and this sounds like something I've been talking about for decades to you guys, is dollar cost averaging. Look, never ape all in, meaning go all in completely on one type of investment with like all your money. So I see people watching gold go up or one stock go up, whether it's an AI stock now or one crypto, and they put all their money into that, and they're just a purist on that. The reason why you want to have a portfolio that's a little spread out, and when I mean spread out, is you have super speculative assets, and that could be maybe 10-20%. You have kind of mid-risk assets. And super speculative would be like smaller cap crypto and things like that, maybe some mid-cap crypto. Now you would also have mid-risk items, which are going to be larger company stocks. And now none of this is financial advice, but back in the day I was like, Apple, Microsoft, these are big companies and, probably have a compelling future. Even buying stuff like Costco, Intuit, companies like this were kind of mid-risk in my mind. And then I have my low risk, which in my mind were like ETF funds. Which are like index funds, right? Like the VOO, Vanguard S&P 500 index fund. That would be, to me, less risk. Or if I want kind of mid-risk with a little bit of less risk, QQQ is what I was buying, which is an ETF. And basically you're buying a whole bunch of companies in the tech sector or buying the 500 companies in the S&P 500 if you're buying VOO. Management fees are reasonable, right? Now, there's the ultra safe, which is cash, and a lot of people are stupid, like I was kind of stupid at first, is they put their money in a checking account or a savings account in a bank, and most of those pay like 1/10 of 1%, which is a complete rip. You should be able to get at least 4%, 3.5% at the worst, but 4%. I mean, just for example, Coinbase, they pay like close to 4.5% on just USDC, which is basically like cash. But even my bank with good amounts of money is paying about 4%, a little bit close to 4%, for just holding cash, right? So there's better ways to do that than just letting it melt. And if they're telling you inflation is like 3-4%, it's probably closer to 10%. I mean, just watch the price of things as you've seen it go up, right? So what I do is whatever allocation I put. So let's say I'm putting 20% towards speculative stuff, right? And then I'm putting 50% towards mid, right? And then I'm putting 30% towards like more boring, ETF type of stuff, right? What I do is I set it up like a bill and I dollar cost average. Now, I've had all these people messaging me, Dan, should I sell all my crypto right now? Oh my gosh, is Bitcoin dropping to 70 grand? Is Ethereum dropping to $1,000? Maybe, but the last bull market, we saw 20% corrections over like 8-9 times or something like that. And so that's normal along the way up. And whenever we take these little corrections is when you want to maybe dollar cost average double. So if you're putting away 1,000 a month, maybe when you see these corrections, you're going to put a little bit more away. Okay, and that's up to you how much you want to, put away. So this applies to all those investments. And right now, I'm seeing some really, really good discounting on some mid and small cap crypto. So buying some of that. Some stocks today. Bought some more stocks, some AI stocks and that were, I feel like are a little bit discounted. And I deployed a pretty good amount into precious metal ETFs. And you can just go to ChatGPT and type in precious metal ETFs traded on the American Stock Exchange with the lowest fees, right? You can buy palladium, you can buy gold, you can buy silver without actually physically having to hold it. So it's a lot easier to sell, right? So now if you're going to buy physical gold or silver, go to All About Coins in Sugar House, Utah. Ask for Alex or Bob and tell them that Dan sent you, and they'll give you a killer deal. Their prices are better than the internet. And buy American minted coins, buy Eagles, because there's different tax laws and things about selling larger quantities of those. So I won't get into that, but buy American Eagles if you're going to buy 1 ounces, right? Now, I think if my crystal ball was going right, you're going to still see, you've seen a little rise here in platinum, palladium, gold obviously doing great, silver, but those haven't risen at the velocity of many AI stocks and crypto. So getting some of that is not a bad thing to have right now. So now we got some interesting real estate opportunities. Interest rates are still very high. And so it's not a bad time if you're looking to buy real estate, because as they drop rates, it's just going to go up, I believe, if it's in a good area, not all areas. But Utah, beautiful Utah, has done pretty well, especially if you're buying east side and you're getting a pretty good deal on it. That's a great thing, I think, if you can afford to buy that right now. And then refinance when rates drop, right? That's not a bad way to go. Now, those of you that own homes, make sure if you have equity, get a home equity line of credit. It's like a revolving credit. And so let's say you have a home and it's worth 800 grand and you have it paid down to 300 grand and you have 500 grand in equity. You can borrow 60, 70, 80% of that depending on the bank. And a lot of times that interest can be tax deductible if it's used for business purposes. Talk to your CPA. But it's a great opportunity to be able to buy certain things. Now, I wouldn't use that necessarily for like crazy speculative, but you saw me talking about Intel and how cheap it was at $20. Look at it now. Jensen Huang, who owns NVIDIA, the CEO over there, he just gave him billions of dollars. And one guy just messaged me, Dan, you were talking about how you were buying Intel Leaps like way back when it was super cheap. And this guy messaged me. He goes, I'm up 200% in this last week. So good on you, man, for taking action, right? I love to hear those stories. Okay, so the second thing I would have done. So the first thing is I would have dollar cost averaged. And I promised you 3 things. So I actually didn't think of the 3 things before I made this video. So it's a little improv. Second thing, though, is I would take care of myself better physically. I would stop, not be drinking, not smoking or doing any of these stupid, dumb habits to kind of give myself a false happiness level. I would simply just walk 30 minutes a day. I would move 30 minutes a day and try to get in 3 days a week, heavy weight training, whether it's dumbbells, barbells, gym, whatever you want. Just move your body and exercise, okay, for like 30 minutes a day. I would do that. All right. And the third thing that I would do is I wouldn't day trade anything, and I wouldn't do fix and flips for homes. I regret every piece of real estate that I've sold. I regret a lot of the stocks that I just thought I'd day trade on. Day trading, it only works till it doesn't, and I see a lot of people making a lot of money with this, but I don't know a lot of guys have been doing it for decades that are making huge money for decades. Usually it's like gambling. They get addicted and they go broke. So now one thing, if you're looking for anything, whether it's real estate, crypto, anything like that, you want to work with experts in that area. Okay. So when I'm looking for commercial real estate, like for office stuff, Brandon Fugel's awesome. Jeff Richards, awesome for like some retail stuff. Adam Lewis is awesome for a lot of retail stuff and that. I mean, you want to find the best of the best because they bring you deals and you pay them a full commission. So you want to make sure you have relationships with the best in the industry. Now, if I'm looking for stocks, who's been really great for like broad portfolio, not the ones that I'm personally picking though, is Mike Tempest at Alta Capital. Incredible. Great. I mean, dude's like, I was checking out one of my portfolios and the dude's like, he's made me like a huge amount of money. So I don't even have to think about it too much. I can see what I have and, so it's pretty cool to know a guy like that. For a crypto, well, I manage my own crypto because that's what I do for work. Myself and Bridger Pennington, we run the Ugly Unicorn Crypto Hedge Fund, open to accredited investors or higher with $100,000 minimum investment or higher. But if you want, a lot of family offices and people use Bridger and I to be their experts in crypto. If you don't want to just spend 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, and get up at 3 a.m. to solve problems in crypto, because crypto is a 24/7 market. So we usually have to have somebody eyeballing it most of the time. So it's very important to have an expert in crypto. We at the Ugly Unicorn deploy. We take all deployments, and all paperwork and docs have to be in by the end of the month. So we're running really close here to the end of this month. And then everything deploys and hits the first of the next month. So open to accredited investors or higher, 100,000 plus deployment. Now, I know a lot of you guys and girls are not accredited yet, but I've had so many messages of people that have watched my videos and they've become accredited over the last few years because they invested well. And that's really, it makes me happy. It really does make me happy to be able to see that. Okay. You ready for number 3? Number 3 is really kind of interesting, and it's called agreements. So if you're married, or if you have a relationship with somebody, or this works with anything, your wife, your kids, or anything, your business partner, have agreements. Don't use assumptions. Assumptions are the worst thing. So like when I was talking to my wife when I was like 19 years old about like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, but I don't know if that's something that you want to support or if you would, but I'm probably going to be working 7 days a week, more than 10 hours a day most of the time for decades. But let's write down some goals that we want to build together. And she wanted this dream house and this, thing for the kids. And one day she's like, I'm going to be a grandma. I want a place where they can play. And then I want the kids to all have a house that we've bought in our trust and they can use that and rent it for really cheap. And, I don't want to have to worry about that. I want to help save the dogs and cats and donate to charity and all these different things. So we wrote these things down, and she was okay about my role of what I had to do that. And she said, well, my role is going to be raising the family right. And I'll make sure you're at the things you need to be at and handle that schedule. So it worked out pretty well for that relationship. It also applies to business partners, but with business partners, you want to be a little bit more formal. Every business partnership is great. Oh, he's my friend. But one day he's your best friend. Next week, he's doing a deposition against you in court if there's nothing in writing. And I see this so many times. So get every agreement in writing. Who owns what of the company? Who gets paid what? At what intervals? Can someone buy someone out? If you go separate ways, what happens? It's like a prenuptial in business when you bring in business partners. Nothing is worse in a business than a bad, irritated partner who owns a minority share or small share of your company. I'm just telling you, that is just agony. You don't want to deal with that, right? Get a good lawyer. Don't do the legal yourself. Get a good CPA. I'm giving you more than 3. Have a good banker. Have good financial advisors, and most importantly, have good mentors. And I'm trying to be your mentor here. And absolutely, you know how much it costs to have me as a mentor here? You ready for this? Is it $100,000? No, it's not $100,000. It's actually free. But what I ask you to do is, if you find value in this video, share it, comment on it, and like it and save it and all that kind of stuff, because this helps the algorithm and this helps us help more people so you can pay it forward. I'll leave you with one last story. My mentor, Mike, helped me when I was very young, and I didn't have any money. I was broke at the time, and he helped me make millions and millions and millions of dollars over the years. And he asked me, I asked him, how much how much do I owe you, Mike? And he said, nothing. He's like, but if you find good men and women that you can help, promise me you'll help them. Promise me you'll help them. And I go, okay. So this is why I make these videos. And I'm never asking you guys to send me money for these videos or anything like that. You can subscribe if you want, and sometimes I do fun events and things, but the training here that I give you is really what you need. Now, you just got to execute. You don't want to be, and Mike told me this, don't be an asshole. Don't ask and not execute. I see so many people I give so much advice to about like life and things like that, or I educate them on investing and stuff, and they just simply don't do anything. That's the problem that I had, though, again, is just getting so emotional and then getting PTSD from losing money from bad investing, and then doing what teachers told you in school. Oh, work 9 to 5, get a 401k, go to college. That's the way. Dude, if you're going to rack up college debt and all this kind of stuff, unless you're going to be some like brain surgeon or something, or, own a CPA firm because you're a master CPA or attorney, because college is pretty much a waste of time for most things. Not all, but many things, Okay, guys, that's it. I haven't posted for a while, though. I had a huge amount of dental work. My teeth are feeling good. I did go to vacation with the family, so I kind of went offline and I posted a few videos there. But I'm back. So you're going to see some more from me. Now, we may see more correction here. There's rumor, my partner Bridget Pennington was talking about how there's rumor that NATO was someone commented on NATO, some Russian leader that they're in war with NATO. And, if that escalates, we'll have a big sale, and I hope you have some dry powder on the side to be able to make some buys. Because whenever there's a war, those of you that are old like me that saw the Iraq war and all these Afghan wars and all these different wars through the years, though, or catastrophes like COVID, you guys are around. That's when the best bargains are, right? So expect more corrections in crypto and stocks and chop. But in the long term, just go to the S&P 500, go to the NASDAQ chart, go to the Bitcoin chart, Ethereum chart, whatever chart, Solana chart, and look at it over 10 years. If you're 10 years patient in a good asset, you're probably going to be okay, all right? All right, so here's your plan. Write down what you're going to dollar cost average in, plot out from risky, mid-risk, and low risk what you might engage with, and just take a darn moment, comment, like, and share this video so we can help more humans. And as your mentor, that's all I ask that you do. Execute and share it with people that could benefit. All right, guys, I love you. Rock and roll.